Welcome. Hello, I'm Kat Millar from Amplify Your Influence, and I'm so happy to be here sharing with you tonight. And those of you who are on live, I'd love it if you could pop in the chat box a hello and say hello and tell me, how are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? Tonight in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you, whoops, my chair is squeaking. Hang on. That is not cool. Let me just adjust this as well. Am I blurry? That's weird. Hang on. It looks blurry to me. Is it blurry to you guys? Annoying. Anyway, tonight in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things that I wish that I learned earlier in business. These would have changed everything for me. And obviously I wasn't meant to learn them earlier, or I would have learned them earlier. But these are things that I learned further down in the journey, and I want to share them with you. If you're starting out in business, or even if you've been in a business for a while, I didn't learn these things for years until I was in business for a while. So things that I wish that I'd learned earlier, because it would have made things easier for me. So I'm going to go dive straight into it. Thanks those of you who have joined me live. Just let me know, is this blurry for you guys? It looks blurry to me. You guys see me blurry, or is it okay? I'm not sure if I need to just clean my lens. Let's have a go. No, still blurry. Oh well, maybe it's my internet. Okay, 5 things I wish I learned earlier in business that could help you to progress faster in business. The first one is your audience doesn't know what they need. Your audience doesn't actually know what they need. Now, a lot of people, and I see this, and I did this so much myself, a lot of people teach people what they need to be doing, instead of actually giving them what they want. So they're focusing on the method, the process, okay, this is what someone needs in order to get their transformation. But actually people don't even know that they need that. They think that they know, but they don't, or they'd be doing it. Remember that people aren't at your level. This is the problem that I used to always come up against, is that I was speaking to them from this level when they were way back here in the journey. And I wish I'd known this sooner, because we forget how far we've come. And I see this with my clients all the time. They have unconscious competence around an area. And so they're speaking to people here instead of speaking to them here, where they're starting out in their journey. And they're forgetting that they used to be here. And the problems that you think that you've got here are actually very different to once you've got the hindsight. You look back, you're like, oh, that's not actually the problem. That's not how they describe the problem. So people are always thinking about what they want. They don't actually really know what they need. I'll give you an example. When I started out, I thought that people really knew that they needed mindset shifts, that they needed time management, that they needed productivity tools, that there were a whole lot of things that they wanted to overcome in order to have this entrepreneurial mindset. I thought that people realized that they needed that. But actually people were like, no, that's fine. I'm fine. I don't need that. What I need is tell me how to get clients, tell me how to market. And so they didn't realize that this is some of the stuff that they need, but they don't actually want it. And so I was trying to sell them something, like I ran a whole day on productivity. I ran a whole day on mindset. And I realized that the most popular days that I ran, the workshops that I ran, were around marketing, around how to actually sign up clients, so how to sell without being pushy and sleazy, and presenting. Those are the skills and the tools that people wanted to have. So we've got to remember that people often don't realize what they need. They just want what's going to solve their immediate issues, right? So you've got to talk to them the way you used to be, not where you are now. People don't care about your processes or your method. They care about solving their immediate problem. So are you creating need marketing? I was talking to someone about this today. Or want marketing? Like, are you getting them to sign up with you because you're telling them all these things that they need, or actually because you're giving them what they want? So the idea here, the concept, is to sell them what they want and then give them what they need. Sell them what they want, then give them what they need. The second one, the thing I wish I learned earlier in business, is the power of creating over consuming. I used to think I just need to learn more. I just need to learn more. I need to go to more courses and listen to more audiobooks and watch more webinars, and I just consumed so much. And maybe you're the same, like you love learning and you love absorbing knowledge. People say this to me all the time. I'm just a sponge. I'm just hungry to learn. And I'm the same. But the problem with that is you get to a point where you actually need to execute. And I call it squeezing the sponge. You actually need to stop absorbing, because like a sponge, you're completely full. It's like you're obese on knowledge and information and content, and you actually need to squeeze it out. Just give me a yes in the comments here if you need to squeeze the sponge. You actually need to squeeze it out because you've been holding onto the sponge. You've been drawing and absorbing information. Like, give me a yes if you love learning, you love knowledge, you love content, and you feel like you need to start creating more. Just give me a yes if that's you, so that we don't feel so alone, because it's so common. And if you think about it, finishing something that you've created yourself gives you an incredible feeling, right? It gives you a buzz, it gives you a high, that completion, it gives you that dopamine hit. But when you're in consume mode, when you wake up in the morning, let's say you sit down at your desk, at your computer, and you know that you want to create a great social media post or an email, or you want to write an article on LinkedIn, or you want to do a video, and somehow, you get to your second coffee and you're trying to get the motivation and the energy. So you think, oh, look, I'll look at other people's stuff. So you look at other people's stuff and see what other people are doing, and hours go by. You can waste a whole morning consuming other people's stuff instead of just sitting and creating your own stuff. And we do this because it's easier. It's our comfort zone. It's much easier to look at other people's posts for inspiration, but then next minute, hours are gone by, you still haven't booked any paid clients, you still haven't got any sales conversations booked in, you haven't booked any discovery calls that week, and you still don't have a profitable business. And I get it, because I did this. I just thought, I need to learn more, I need to learn more, I need to learn more. But consuming and comparing yourself to others and contemplating, it doesn't get you where you want to go. Creating great work in the world is what does it. So I wish that I'd created more when I started out, instead of just consuming other people's stuff. The third thing I wish I learned earlier in business is the power of core messages. The power of core messages. So core messages are messages that you repeat everywhere you show up online. So for example, every time you are interviewed by someone, every time you do a Facebook Live, every time you write a blog post, or the messages all throughout your web copy, you want to make sure that people are really clear on what your core messages are. 3 to 5 things that you want people to know about you that is your signature language. 3 to 5 core messages. So when I show up, I often say the same things, and it's okay if you repeat things, because people need repetition. People need to hear things multiple times. So for example, some of the core messages that I say, I always talk about the world is waiting for your words. The world is waiting for your words. I use it pretty much every time I run a workshop. I'll have a slide that talks about that. I say you overcome fear with a formula. You overcome fear with a formula. It's a message, it's a core message that I repeat through a lot of wherever I show up online. You would have heard me say that if you've been around for a while. You probably would have heard me say, stop guessing and start getting. Stop guessing, start getting. You get proven success when you have a proven strategy. So these are some of the core messages that I repeat. And my clients would have heard me say them over and over again. So what are your core messages? What are your 3 to 5 core messages that you keep repeating, where people know that that's your language? Another one that I say often is that business is too hard to do alone. Business is too hard to do alone. You've probably heard me say that if you've been around me for any amount of time. And you want to repeat these so that people start to associate you with them. It's like your brand values, your brand positioning, your like infiltrating everything with your values, with those core beliefs that you believe. Another one I say is, for business to be successful, it has to be simple. So let's simplify things and turn things into a model where people can really understand it. So my question to you is, are you clear on your core messages? I wasn't when I started out, but what got me into core messages is putting phrase anchors, what we call a phrase anchor, where we put these into our webinars and our presentations, where you've got a phrase that is kind of like the anchor and you keep coming back to it, and you have one main phrase anchor through your whole presentation. So you can do this with your core messages with everywhere that you show up online. The next one, number 4, is the power of having the right strategy. So like that example I gave where you get up in the morning and you don't know what to post content about, you don't know what to say, you're not sure what topics to talk about, you're a bit confused. Really, it comes down to not having a clear strategy. You don't have an overarching strategy. You don't have a plan. So you're kind of just winging it. You're saying, oh, I need to post on social, so I'm just going to write a topic about, post about that topic. You don't have a clear strategy that is driving all of your decisions, and you can waste days. I know when I started out, I just wasted days and days and weeks because I would start something and not finish it. I didn't have a strategy. I realized I had the ingredients, but I didn't have the recipe that put all the pieces together in the right order, in the right way. And so I felt like I was going to all these courses and investing a lot of time and money, but I still didn't have the right strategy because I hadn't got someone to sit down with me and had an expert actually tell me, hey, stop doing that, start doing that. You know, if we don't have the right step-by-step process, then we're just going to waste so much time, and we're going to build what I call half-built bridges. We're going to start building something, but then it gets too hard, and so we're going to just come back and build another bridge over here. And that gets too hard, we bump up against a belief system, or we don't have the tools or the skills, so we start building another bridge over here. And no wonder we get so confused and overwhelmed and frustrated because nothing's finished. You know, people don't pay for half-built bridges, right? They pay for a fully built bridge that they can walk over to the other side. They pay for a journey. They pay for a path. So remember that. You might want to write that down. People pay for a path. They pay for a step-by-step process or framework that takes them where they want to be. And what I see a lot of people doing is just throwing out lots and lots of information and knowledge and content to people, but not actually giving them a strategy. And I wish I knew that sooner. I wish I knew that it was so important to give people a path, like a sequential process to follow, so that you go from guessing and hoping and doing all sorts of things and building all sorts of bridges, like starting a podcast. I remember planning out, I was talking to my friend about it today. We both sat there and learned how to do a podcast and planned out our podcast outline and researched the right mic to get and all of that. And we still don't have podcasts, and this was years ago, you know, like we spent all that time for nothing. Other things, like I've started writing ebooks and lead magnets. I've got half-finished lead magnets. I've got notes in my phone, notes on my folders in my computer. Is anyone else like me? Tell me that I'm not alone. You've got notes, you know, ideas in your phone. You've got folders in your computer. You've got journals, half-finished journals full of ideas that you haven't finished. You've started creating maybe blog posts or videos, and you haven't completed them, right? Because you don't have the strategy. Does anyone else feel like that? Hey, Debs, so nice to see you on here. Yeah, core messages are super powerful. So if anyone else has built half-built bridges, you know, all these ideas, things that you want to do, but you haven't finished it, you're not alone. It's human behavior. It's just what we do. We we bump up against something that gets too hard and we retreat back and we try something new because it's much easier. We always take the path of least resistance. It's the Tao Te Ching, it's known as. The brain will always take the path of least resistance, especially if you don't have a strategy. You know, if you're thinking, how can I have all this knowledge? I'm a sponge. I've absorbed so much. I've been to so many courses and webinars and workshops and read so many books. Like, just give me a yes in the comments if you feel like you've got a lot of knowledge, you know a lot, you've got the content, you've absorbed it, and you've got lots that you can teach people about, but maybe you're frustrated because you're thinking, why have I still not got the results that I want? You know, I totally get it. When I started my business, I wasted so much time. Like, I started so many different things. Too many freaking half-built bridges. No one pays for that. They can't be walked over, right? So I want you to think about your strategy, and it's really important when you think about your strategy to make sure that you're really clear on your positioning. Like, what's your strategy in terms of getting your content out in a way that positions you as the expert? What would get people saying, you need to work with Josh, he's so blank and blank and blank. You need to work with Deb, she's so blah, blah, and blah. What are 3 words that you want your clients to use about you, or you want your colleagues or people to refer you business? What would you want them to say? Because that's part of your strategy, is your positioning. How do you want to be positioned? Some people think positioning is something you need to kind of become, but this is more something you decide to act upon so that people describe you as that. This gives you full control. You know, you don't have a successful business by giving away control to other people. You need to decide what you want people to say about you, and by taking full control of your business. So what are 3 things that you would want people to say about you? And that's your positioning. And then number 5, the 5th thing I wish that I learned earlier in business is the power of consistent, imperfect action. Consistent, imperfect action. I used to get so caught up making sure every slide was perfect and that the whole formula was so perfect before I even posted. And perfectionism is something that absolutely cripples people, and it has definitely crippled me in so many ways. I know I would have moved so much faster if I hadn't been so freaking scared of getting things wrong or failing or making mistakes, you know, having a typo. Things can always get better, right? You know, you could get a post better and better and better and better, but you don't want to sit on something for 3 weeks. You just want to get something out there helping people, because perfectly done sitting in your laptop is not helping anyone. It's better to have something out there that's at 70%, 80%, 90%. I'm not talking about doing sloppy work. We don't want to use that as an excuse to produce like really poor work. Have a high standard of excellence for sure, but once you've got it to a point that that's going to help someone, that's going to be valuable, you need to get it out there. I've got so many stories of people that have just sat on things for so long, you know, trying to get the perfect blog or make sure the video is so perfectly practiced. You know, you've just got to keep showing up. So many of these Facebook Live videos I plan them, I prepare, I've got an outline, but if I'd practiced and practiced way more, I could have got it better. Like, that's just the honest truth about it. But it's more about being consistent and showing up. I show up here weekly, so I'm getting better and better at it, but I'm not practicing, 50 times at home by myself with no one watching, because that's not helping anyone. I'd rather just turn my camera on, go live, be imperfect, have people judge me, and at least be helping some people, because I don't have time to practice and make something perfect. I'm spending most of my days coaching clients, so the power of imperfect action, just getting things out there. It's so important that you just think, okay, it's not about me, it's about my clients, it's about the people that I'm serving. And what if I just focus on service? What if I show up so that people listen and get value, and that people feel that they understand you. And no one wants perfect. No one actually wants that, because you suddenly are unrelatable. That's why sometimes it's good not to over practice, because you want to be real, you want to be human, you want to be relatable. I love it when I see my multi-millionaire mentors have mistakes. I'm like I've seen them put things out there that aren't perfect, that have typos, that maybe they share the wrong link. I love seeing that. Does anyone else relate? You're like, yes, they're not perfect, they're human, and they're still getting out there, making it work, making it real. Absolutely. Hey Anna, how's it going? Yeah, totally relate, girl. So I just want to ask you, do you think if you just took more imperfect action consistently, that you would help more people, that you'd actually grow your business? I think if you got really honest with yourself, you'd find that the answer is yes. So stop trying to figure everything out and get it all perfect before you launch. Just get it out there imperfectly. I've been blogging. My website's been up since 2007, and some of the blogs that I wrote back in the day are terrible, but I like seeing the progress. It's like when you read someone's book and then 10 years later they write another book and it's so much better, but you see their growth. We all love growth and progress. So that's something that I wish I knew earlier. So I hope that some of those nuggets there have helped you maybe to not make those same mistakes, to remember that it's all about executing, and it's all about getting stuff out there, taking action, not being perfect, and remembering that it's all about, like, when it comes to business, how are you different? How are you positioning yourself? How are you valuing people? How are you sharing your message and communicating your value to people so that they actually want to work with you? And it makes success inevitable when you consistently just keep showing up, because you know that you're going to keep growing. And so the reason that I'm so passionate about helping people not make these mistakes and fast track their results is because when we get over ourselves, we can actually make a way bigger impact and a much bigger ripple effect, and help more people when we actually stop focusing on ourselves and we start focusing on other people. So there's a lot of things in there. Strategy is one of the most important things to have. And if I was going to say, out of all of those 5, the thing that's the most important thing that I wish that I knew is, I wish I understood the power of having a strategy, because this is where I see most people falling down. They get overwhelmed, they get confused, they're taking bits and pieces of everything, and there's no overarching business strategy. And that's why I love helping people with strategy and systems and creating a step-by-step process that they can use, and stop wasting time on the things that don't work and start doing the things that get them clients. Like, if you actually knew exactly what to do when you sit down at your computer in the morning to communicate your value with the right person, to speak their language, to engage them, to hook them in, to keep them engaged, to show them value, to show them the benefits, show them how you can overcome their problem. If you knew how to do that, you would stop spinning your wheels and building all these half-built bridges, which is why I've created an event where I show you how to do all of this. And I'm doing it absolutely for free, because I want to share this formula with you so that you can stop wasting time and sitting at your computer consuming, and you can start creating. You can really start putting out the content out into the world, which is going to actually get people to sign up with you, because you're connecting with the things that matter. You've got a strategy. So I created a process, a step-by-step process that took me years to refine it and tweak it. I've run hundreds of people through it. It works every time, and it looks simple, and it is simple when you know it, but when you don't know it and when you're doing it all out of order, then business is really hard. So I'm sharing it in a one-day event, which is coming up on Saturday, the 21st of November. So it's coming up really fast. It's called How to Attract New Clients with Ease. And I'm going to be sharing with you how to create compelling content. And I use influential psychology-based content hacks so that you know how to reach the right people with the core messages, with differentiating yourself from your competitors so that you're really clear on your unique selling point. How to get super clear, laser-like focus on your ideal clients and your niche so that you know exactly how to share with them. I'm going to help you create an offer which is irresistible, so how to actually package up your offer, how to price it, how to put it together in a way that's super appealing. It makes it a no-brainer for people. So it's all in order. You've got to do it in order. There's a sequential process. This is the strategy that I wish I learned earlier, because I was just trying all sorts of bits and pieces. So I'm teaching it all. I'm unveiling the secrets that I wish that I learned, and it's completely free because I wish that I learned it, and I don't want people to needlessly struggle. So if you want to learn the exact steps to attracting your ideal clients and knowing how to sign them up, I'll put the link in the comments. Hey Rachel, good to see you. Yeah, strategy is so important. So I'm just going to put the link to the free workshop here. It's bit.ly/HTA-Nove21. If you've got any questions, just pop them in the comments. So Anna says, what stops me with perfectionism is client expectation, testing content, making myself happy. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Client expectation, testing content. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got to test content. We've got to try. We've got to see what people like and what they don't like. And that's about just getting out there regularly and consistently and imperfectly, because that's how we get to know what people like. Making myself happy. Yeah, we've got to be true to our own values as well. It's really valid. So any questions, just pop them in the chat box. Oh, not the chat box. I'm used to Zoom. Pop them in the comments and I'll get back to you. If you're watching the replay, just give me a hashtag replay so I know you're watching the replay, and let me know which of those 5 things do you need to focus on. Which of those 5 are the things that you need to focus on. Number 1, your audience doesn't know what they need. So we've got to sell them what they want, then give them what they need. Number 2, the power of creating over consuming. I wish I knew that earlier. Number 3, the power of having a core messages throughout your business. Number 4 is the power of having the right strategy so that you don't waste time. And number 5 is the power of consistent, imperfect action. 5 things I wish I learned earlier in business. I hope that those nuggets have helped you. Remember, if you want to know the strategy, the right formula in order to attract and sign up clients, you need the strategy, and that's what I help people with. So come along to the workshop, check it out, and I look forward to seeing you then. Take care, my friends. Goodbye.